Soon we'll be introducing this technology to the team at White Box Winery, where winemaker Peter Wilson freely admits he knows much more about grapes than grappling with IT.
We have an excellent laboratory where we can keep track of what our wines are doing, and that's where we hope that IT is going to help us in keeping our records and monitoring our wines and just keeping a handle on what exactly is happening to the various wines as they mature, as they change their flavours. That's the great thing about wines. You can have a wine that you think is terrible and it's not going to make the grade, and with a bit of careful handling and some maturing, that wine will often surprise you and make the cut and be one of the best wines you can make.
Well, that's the White Box Winery story so far. It's a huge investment in search of a market, but Hendra's pretty sure they've got the formula right for huge overseas success.
What a magnificent room.
It's a fantastic room. It's of course there's a lot of issues with it. We have to keep it temperature controlled. You can lose a lot of wine through evaporation and things like that, so we need to make sure that we monitor what's happening here quite closely. We have many batches of wine, so we need to know where that wine's going, how it's maturing, and things change pretty rapidly with wines. You can taste it one week and then the following week it can be totally different. We use a manual system at the moment, so we just write down the numbers of the barrels and then enter those into a basic database. We are very keen to bring that into a far more regulated system in that we can know exactly where every wine is. We want to not just track the life of the wine, we want to track the life of the barrel as well.
Yes.
We can zip in a barcode and that can tell us that barrel's been used for Chardonnay for 2 years and it was used for Shiraz for 3 years after that, and so on and so forth.
White Box is also a little off the beaten track, but Peter Wilson is hoping that technology will bring the winery a little closer to its suppliers.
We can't get goods delivered here by most of the major courier services. We don't exist on their maps, so right. that becomes a very important issue. So because of that, inventory control is essential.
So how do you manage stock shrinkage?
Hit and miss at the moment. You run out of something and you curse because it's not there and you need it desperately. So we're looking at IT in helping us in a big way with that. It's very important.
We met up with Damien Disney, our business success consultant, a little earlier. Now he's on site at White Box Winery, supervising the installation of its new server.
The server is set up for 10 users at the moment, but the system will actually take you right up to 75 users and be able to cope with that sort of growth. So it's not a difficulty, it's just a matter of adding more equipment. We've sourced the corporate range of equipment from Hewlett-Packard. So what it means is that it comes with a 3-year warranty. The first year of that is on site for you. After that, it's a return to base warranty. We'll often come out and do the first lot of fixing with it. We'll provide backup equipment if this is essential to your business operation. And we think that the combination of what HP provide and what ITRO provide will mean that you'll have very little downtime with regard to your IT equipment.
I work from this winery 3 days a week and from the Yarra Valley vineyard for 2 days a week. And at the moment I have 3 versions of each document, I guess, or 3 versions of each Excel spreadsheet, and I'm constantly getting 3 versions confused. I've got one on my PDA,
yes,
one on my laptop, and one on the computer here as well. So that leads to all sorts of problems.
One of the beauties of your own VPN or virtual private network is the ability to have version control down pat, because you only have one copy of any document.
Okay.
that gets changed.
What this does is it centralises it all, and it all resides here as a master copy where it gets backed up. But also too, using remote access and various mobile devices and your notebook using VPNs, you can access just the one file and make changes to it, and those changes exist here at the server. But it doesn't matter where you are. You can be over at your accommodation, you can be down at the winery in the Yarra Valley, you can be even on your PDA accessing that information. That's the real benefit you're going to receive with regard to this setup.
So with your business, have you found that that you've had resistance with your staff members in training?
Yes, we have, and it's not always resistance, it's often lethargy and ignorance, and staff are not always IT specialists. So training is very, very important.
Do you want to tee up an appointment with Henry? Say, is he going to be in the country? Is he going to be here at Heathcote? Are we all going to be down at the Yarra Valley? And you can work out according to your calendars where you're going to be in real time and know that, okay, I can organise all of these people to be here even though I haven't physically spoken to them, because all your scheduling and calendaring exists here on the central server.
And that's not to say that you need to have an IT specialist, but you do need someone that takes responsibility.
Much like you have an IHMS representative, you have an IT representative as well.
Yeah, that's very
Somebody
important.
Who runs that.
Very important, and people that do take the time to find out how much time the staff are spending on emails and how effectively the system's working.
Damien, we're currently having installed our temperature control system for our tanks. It's important that we monitor the fermentation temperatures while the wines are fermenting. It also controls the heating and the cooling system for the fermentation process. A standalone computer runs this. How does that fit in with our network? How are we going to join those two together?
Well, I imagined previously, Peter, that if it was a particularly warm night or a particularly cold night and you were getting concerned about your vintage, you'd have to wander across here in your jammies, check the computer and see what was exactly happening and whether or not the fermentation process was being affected. Well, now with the network, what it means is that computer is not standing alone. It's joined to the network. You can be over in your accommodation. You can hook in through your notebook and into the network, have a look at what's actually happening, and if changes need to be made, well, then you can make the call, or even actually change that software remotely so that it makes the necessary changes and the fermentation goes along as you'd like to have it happen.
We needed to find somebody that was able to provide us with the service, and Intro have done that for us, in that they've not only provided us with the software that we've needed, but also the hardware. There's often problems between the software and the hardware, and they'll blame each other if you've got a supplier that for one and another supplier for the other.
We'd have regular meetings with you to discuss what your needs are, what your future plans are, and we pride ourselves at ITRO of keeping in touch with our clients in that way and working out exactly what your needs and advising on technology that's going to really meet your needs, not just be a large capital expense without a return on your investment.
We've completed the setup and the installation of the VimWizard software.
Most of the components on the server can be serviced over the phone, so that ITRO can dial into the system and make the changes that you require online.
Great. Well, how do we stop hackers getting into it? How do we stop other people who may want to alter the temperature on one of my tanks? How do I stop that from happening?
Well, it's all authenticated through the central server here, and then your access to that is through, we're going to have a satellite link is the way you're getting the internet out here, but between that and the server resides a firewall, so that's going to prevent a lot of unauthorised access, and then even once people get to the server, they still have to authenticate with the username and password.
Anywhere in the world, actually.
In the world?
You can sit on your laptop and see the number of barrels of wine that have gone out that day.
So in other words, Big Brother is watching me all the time. I can't escape Hendra's eagle eyes from the work that I'm doing. He can see what I'm doing all the time.
Well, that's it. But also, too, it's a benefit for Hendra because Hendra's business interests reside here and other places, but he also wants to know what's going on. So whether or not he's here or overseas, he's going to be able to gain access to the system, know exactly what's happening, and be in contact with you all, too.
Can I lock Hendra out of some of the areas as well? Or?
Yes, but we'd always be able to get in and unlock it for him at Hendra's request.
So he can phone you and get my password, basically.
That's it.
During vintage, we run the winery for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we take 12-hour shifts. There's a daytime team and a nighttime team. If I say I'm asleep at 3 in the morning, but I want to know that there's a tank of Chardonnay that's gone up to 28 degrees and I need to get the cooling system's failed, can I also then have some sort of alarm system that tells me that I need to get out of bed and fix that up?
Yeah,
damn,
absolutely.
I was hoping you wouldn't be able to do that. There we go.
Well, we've heard all the benefits, but what's a server going to cost to install in your business? We'll have a breakdown of the hardware and support costs right after this break. Well, this has been a really interesting visit to White Box Winery. I congratulate you on everything you've achieved in such a short period of time. How did you enjoy the visit of the business success team?
It was really worthwhile. I think it's given me the confidence to know that we can go forward and that our IT problems are going to be under control very shortly.
They're very important to you too. Hello, what have we got here?
Chardonnay.
Oh, you're a gentleman, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, maybe Sunday morning for the viewers, but right here, right now, there's no better time. Cheers.
Cheers.
To White Box.
Don't forget to spit.
You mean I can't swallow it?
I'm afraid not.